Need. Of course. What is it? Let's see. What sort of armor do you prefer? Bikhai's tastes have always hewed toward heavy armor, but... And it is embarrassing to say, but... Well, the problem with heavy plate is it tends not to form to the body well, instead pinching and prodding in all the most regrettable places. It is supposed to be lined with padding on the inside, but it only does so much. And with all of Khajiit's fur in there too, it gets quite hot. With the added weight of the armor, things can get quite uncomfortable. Even something as simple as walking or bending over becomes a careful chore. So, if we go charging into battle and you see this one walking with an awkward gait, just know, this one is not injured, he is just, chafing, yes? Yes, of course. What? Bikhai supposes you'll be wanting a lesson in weapon usage, He is happy to give it if you're willing to listen. Let's see. Khajiit actually can't think of anything he hasn't already said. Well, good. You're a master warrior now, yes? And all thanks to Bikhai. Of course. What? You know that thing that humans and elves do? Whistling. Yes, well, perhaps not the highest priority for a warrior, but Bikhai has always wished he could do it. Whistle. No, unfortunately not. You should know just as well as this one. Our lips are, shall we say, not up to the task, yes? Or hadn't you noticed? Well, Khajiit's lips don't have the proper muscles to do it, yes? They sheath our teeth well enough, give our canines somewhere to hide, but... You and Bikhai just weren't built for whistling. Trust Bikhai, it is not for a lack of trying. He can almost make the sound using his tongue, but it is just not quite the same. Well, alright. But along with being unable to whistle, this one should tell you he can't carry a tune either. Just a few notes, yes? Really? You think so? It didn't sound so good to Bikhai's ears, and it was more cat tongue than cat lips, but... Perhaps Khajiit will give this whistling a bit more practice then. Thank you, Dragonborn. Of course. What? This college is a wondrous place. You get used to the mundanities of day-to-day life, and then you come to a place like this. A place where the very ley lines of nature are being teased apart and manipulated and put on display by these mages. And it opens your eyes. So much of what Bikhai sees here is beyond his comprehension, and he only wishes he had the mental acuity to learn. It is a surprise they let a warrior like him in the front gate at all, yes? Bikhai's tried before. Aside from slightly burning the pads of his palm, he did not make much progress. It is fine though. Not everyone can wield magic, in the same way that not everyone can wield such a range of weapons as Bikhai can. The world needs warriors as much as it needs mages, and so Bikhai makes do. There is some... Of course. What is it? One of the hallmarks of being a warrior is being proficient with many... He's a warrior, yes? Give him even a mere bow, a good two-handed axe. Oh, yes. Khajiit is not normally one for gratuitous violence, but given a great axe and half an opportunity... Oh, yes. Of course. What is it? Let's see. Bikhai is not sure why this comes to his mind right now, but he had a pet once, a long time ago when he was a cub. It was a dog, a small white female with long hair and a black patch over her left ear. Little Hervé Darrow. Bikhai loved that dog with all his heart. Oh, you flatterer, you. Yes, Khajiit supposes that is true. But all the same, there is a certain camaraderie with dogs you just don't get with a cat. Dogs are dumb, yes, but they are loyal, always up for petting, how to make you happy. Cats, well, if Bikhai can say it without being too incriminating. Cats are out for themselves, and they'd be more than happy, some of them, to scratch your eyes out purely for the pleasure of it. No, Bikhai prefers dogs for pets. He prefers his cats to walk on two legs and be capable of speech, yes? Bikhai visited a town in the southwestern reaches of Morrowind once, many years ago, called Kragenmore. Small town, but it left a mark on this one. You see, even though slavery has ended in Morrowind, Kragenmore remains a testament to its legacy. Segregation and discrimination are still rampant. The descendants of former slaves, almost entirely Khajiit, live in ramshackle housing on the lower levels of the city, separate from the elves. 2 to 3 families per house, all of them struggling to survive in a city of elves that still looks down on them as inferior, as beasts. They still perform hard labor and tasks that are beneath the elves, backbreaking work, and they do it for such little compensation that they are often reduced to begging in the streets, an act for which they are spat upon by the elves. Yes, it is. But the incredible thing about Khajiit is their ability to make good out of hardship, to draw strength from their suffering. The Khajiit of Krakenmore developed a tight-knit community amongst themselves. Bikhai visited a gathering where there was dance and drinks. The pub was dilapidated, with only half of a roof, and the night was wet. But through it all, they danced and sang and enjoyed each other's company. This one could see that despite their hardships, they had found a way to persevere and strive for happiness. The Khajiiti spirit was strong in them. Nonetheless, it did not change the depressing circumstances of their existence in Morrowind. And in that oppression, Bikhai found only sorrow. This one wished there was something he could do to help them, to make it all better. But his powerlessness was profound, and so he could only watch. Of course. What is it?
Where's Kosnak?
Well, if we are visiting shops, Bikhai should mention that his weapon is a bit worn down of late. Not getting the job done as well as it could, yes? Perhaps you could check for a replacement of some sort, Or even an upgrade if you have the coin. No worries either way, though. If there is one thing Bikhai learned living in Morrowind, it was how to make the best of what you have. Yes? Of course. What is it? Bikhai has a question for you, and feel free to answer honestly. Does this one look like a jester to you? Khajiit asks because while he was in Yorvoskar, he heard several companions remark about his appearance when they thought they were not in earshot. About the color of Khajiit's fur, the pattern on his face. Bikhai has never been completely comfortable with his fur, so overhearing these remarks, they have stuck with this one, yes? But there are a select few in this world whose opinions I count above the rest, and you're among them. So thank you for saying so. Come, let us push on. The neck has your back? Of course. Right. What is it? The subject of honor has come up a number of times in this one's life. Do you know what it is, honor? It is to hold something in high regard, to treat it with respect. Growing up in Morrowind, Bikhai was told time and time again by the Dunmer that he had no honor. Being but a cub, he did not understand what this meant, or why it should be, and when he asked his mother, she would just shake her head and sigh, and the way she would look at this one, Khajiit saw the sadness in her eyes, and his heart broke. Bikhai wanted nothing more than to make that sadness go away, and so this one decided early on that he would live his life with honor. Prove to the elves that he was an honorable cat. They called him a sneak thief, and so he vowed never to thieve. They called him a liar, and so he spoke the truth, even when it was not to his advantage to do so. They called him a skooma fiend, and so he avoided it like the plagues of Periite. Bikhai tried his hardest to live his life with honor, but it was never enough for the elves. They saw Bikhai and ridiculed him, called him Bikior, a mix of his name with their word for mistake. No matter Bikhai's actions, he could not gain their acceptance. In time, this one stopped trying, and after this one's mother passed on, Khajiit gave second thought to the life he had led. What good had his honor done? His mother was gone, and to the very day she died, her sadness had never left her. And Bikhai, he was exactly where he had always been, alone, a pariah to the elves. What good had his honor done? Bikhai was lucky. It was there, at the breaking point of this one's honor, that Khajiit first met his mate. The kindest, most compassionate cat this one has ever met. Bikhai does not know where he would be today had it not been for her bringing him back. Perhaps he would be an alley cat, or a cat purse, or perhaps he would be dead. He would not be here with you. That is for certain.